All right, hello members, bringing you another update here as to where we're at and what's happening. As you know, we took a stop this morning on the S&P 500 short that we've had out there. You know, it opened down, or actually it opened a little bit down and then proceeded down. But once again, it comes into an area, right, where you've got a high volume bar. It comes into that bar. If we get the price points on it, that low there is 2041. We traded to 2044. So as it comes down there, they flip around, they buy it again, right, and shoot this thing back up again. And so we took out half of this on a stop on that reversal and said, you know, we're just not going to, you're not going to sit here, right? You can't allow it to keep going, right? We attempted to short back here on this little area back here, right? And we're unable. I think we started. I'd have to go back and look, but I think it was right in this area. And we got a little reversal, but then we push up and we push up, and we just haven't been able to get anything since then. So, got to take half the position out, cut the losses, right? Put it down to something reasonable. Just can't sit there forever. And right now, it still isn't giving a failure. So, with no failure in sight, there's no reason to stay with the short position, or certainly not to stay with a full-sized short position. Let's take a look at the others here. KMI is the pipeline. You know, oil's been getting hit, and as oil gets hit, this gets pushed down. We've taken profits before. We've been sitting here. I keep looking at this area. I believe oil is going to actually trade a little bit lower. I keep looking at this area as the key area on the way back. I'd actually like to see it break the swing point lows. There's one here and one there. That would give it a nice little push back into this zone and allow us to buy it at a much better price. So I'm still sitting here just waiting to see if we can get a better price point entry on this as we go forward. Gold, we actually have the gold trade on as well. Gold traded down this morning. But again, folks, if you're not in this, you should really be thinking about it, because you had, remember, this is a range trade. It's a one-way range trade setup. And what I mean by that is you had an escalation, right, and then a vertical move after that, right? That vertical move since then, right, has taken this angle of ascent extremely high. So with that angle of ascent as it is, and with the blow-off top volume that we got, that says that this is going to range trade at best, right, move sideways, but eventually probably break back out. If you look at this bar, it's this bar here, right? And so that's kind of the potential bottom of the range. It got pretty close this morning to the bottom of the range. You actually have kind of like two steps inside of it, right? You kind of got one up there and one down here. And so it came into the bottom half of it. It's down there. It potentially can test this low down on this bottom side, right, which would be the top of this bar. And if so, that's going to be the great buy, right? That's probably going to be a really good buy. You know, worst case, if we look at it and say, okay, how bad could it get? It could actually get to the bottom of this zone, this buy zone that you see here. And so you have to assume that you're going to buy it down in that zone. You're going to keep buying it all the way down, average into a good price point, on the assumption that this big range, let's just assume it's the whole thing, eventually is going to break. And when it does, it's going to expand to the same size, right, to the upside. And if you just take those price points and say, okay, how big is that? That's about 113 to 122. That's about 9 points. Put a 9 on top of that, takes you up to about 130. Now 130, if we go over and pull up the monthly on it, right, 130 is going to take you up into these swing point highs, or pretty close to them. That's a 128, 133.69. So it's going to take you into the meat of the resistance, which is really right into here. And so that's the target, right? The 130 number into the bottom of this bar, basically 130.51. And so you can see the range expansion takes you up into that. Another $9 on this is another good sized move, and so you really want to be part of that if you can get on it. It's another, you know, good 7% or so. Now the gold stocks themselves are moving, and we do have an entry there, and I like the way they're setting up as well. I haven't been covering them, but you know, I'll just point them out here as I'm here. You know, the gold stocks fading back in again, nice big range, They want to go upside, topside too. This is all consolidation after a big move, and that's what happens after a big move. You get consolidation, and so what you really want to do is focus on getting some entries while you're allowed to. Finally, I want to move to a new trade. We actually caught a great entry, and it's just a great trade, so I want to show it. And it's in the healthcare sector. The symbol is VRX, which is Valiant. Now, Valiant has been totally demolished, right? Going from a high of, here, let's see what the high was on this guy. It was $264. Down to 21, I think it traded at 25.75. I mean, that's a pretty good haircut. And with it at that low now, you know, you just got a test of a swing point low on lower volume yesterday. And that was what I was keying on. That was why we took the position yesterday. And today, even though it doesn't look like a big bump up, we're already up 10.5% today. It's going to target the bottom of this bar, which is $33. And so, you know, there's potentially another $4 on this move after a good piece up today already. You know, percentage-wise it's 10%, but it's already up $2.50. You know, so there's another 10.5, 15% still on this move. And that's just to get the resistance, right? If this thing ever starts to claw back into this big bar down, I mean, you're talking about huge numbers, right? $54. So anyway, nice setup. We took the entry. We have a great, you know, position now in terms of size and in terms of where we're at. And now we're just going to have to see as it comes into this swing point low, which is about 32. The low's high, which is 31.59. And then this number over here, which is 33, that's going to be the zone on the way up that you're going to have to look at trying to take some profits, at least partials. And so as we get up into that area, that's where you want to be looking. So that's VRX. Of course, we have some other positions on, as you know, but I can't carry all of them here on the show. Just carry a few. So that's where we're at today. Thanks as always, and I'll see you next time.